Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the greatest time of the day. From the center of the universe, New York City, it's the main event you've been waiting for. It's time to go in the cage with CYCLONE!
And happy April Fool's Day! This foolish Messiah has come back into your lives. 2 days in the dojo in a row, and I'm still healthy. It's like a world record I'm setting here. Guys, really fast, obviously share. Come on, pretty please. Check out CycloneComedy.com and EffectiveAggression.com. Warmer weather's coming. Time for them t-shirts, and there is a plethora. That's a triple word score in Scrabble. A plethora of t-shirts for you on EffectiveAggression.com. So pick something out, all right? A couple weeks ago, I did a bunch of Mount Rushmores, and I realized I actually left a Mount Rushmore out. Wrestling managers. So I decided to start the show off today with wrestling managers. Now look, obviously I know I'm the one that always whines and complains. A Mount Rushmore is only 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8. But you know what? I had to, there's no two ways around it. You got to do more than 4 as far as the managers are concerned in wrestling. You're obviously going to start with Bobby the Brain Heenan. Okay, he's the cream of the crop. You have to put Captain Lou on there. How do you not put the man that crossed over rock and wrestling? Oh, pop and wrestling, you know, music and wrestling. And alongside of him, you got to put in Jimmy the Mouth of the South Heart. I mean, the man's still going strong today. And here's where it gets tricky. My fourth, it's a dead heat tie, okay, between Classy Freddie Blassie and the Grand Wizard. As a matter of fact, yours truly was actually in Madison Square Garden the night the Grand Wizard passed away. You know, word is kind of, you know, like the whole thing with Mickey in the Rocky series is kind of his homage to what happened to the Grand Wizard dying in, you know, the locker room. But seriously, between Classy Freddie Blassie and the Grand Wizard, only the true old school people are going to know. A lot of you younger guys are going to say, oh, you know, maybe Miss Elizabeth, maybe this one, maybe that one. No, the fourth is a dead heat. It has to be Freddie Blassie, and it has to be the Grand Wizard. The two of them meant so much to the sport, more than you guys could even know, you youngsters. All right? And in thinking of this Mount Rushmore, it got me thinking of my WrestleMania memories, being that it's WrestleMania week here in New York / New Jersey / yeah, Jersey City is Jersey. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and I was actually planning on running around this week, but due to obligations, I'm not going to be running around as much as I wanted to. I'm going to be doing just a wee bit amount of stuff. On, I believe it's Thursday in Jersey City, you have Josh Barnett's wrestling with Frank Mir and a couple of other guys. And a breaking side of the fact news story, Josh Barnett earlier today on the Ariel Helwani show, got to give a plug to Ariel, Josh Barnett signed a multi-fight contract with Bellator. Mind blown. I never in a million years thought he'd be coming back to MMA, let alone Bellator. But it's a good thing. It is a good thing, because not only is another heavyweight, it's like a large pool of fish, and now you're throwing in a new fish and all these new good possibilities. But listen, the word is maybe his debut happens in June. Roy Nelson last week on the phone with me, you heard it right here, him saying he's looking for a June fight. 2 months ago, I spoke with Justin Red. Justin Red said he would be ready in June. So there you have, you now have possibilities. And who's to say Fedor is actually retired? Fedor's never come out through his people, through Jerry Millen. He's never said he's done. So we might have some good matchups. And look, Barnett against Bader, Darth Bader against the War Master. Good things to think about coming up. But like I said, it made me think about my WrestleMania moments. And like I said, I'm not going to be doing that much this week. But as just a youngster, as just a wee little Cyclone, I was at WrestleMania 1, sitting up in section 210 of Madison Square Garden. And that set off the pay-per-view plan for wrestling, because, look, had that not worked, Vince goes bust because he put everything, he did the one thing Mama always tells you not to do. He put all his eggs in one basket. I mean, he came up with one hell of a bunny rabbit after the fact. But something you really shouldn't always do. It was an ultimate gamble that just paid off for him, obviously. I was at WrestleMania 3 in the Pontiac Silverdome, and obviously it's Hogan, Andre there, but my biggest memory is when I got into the building with my friend and my friend's dad. I was like, holy smokes. I remember, I was just a little kid back then, so everything seemed bigger. The Pontiac Silverdome for a wrestling event was insane. And every time I'll go back and I'll watch video clips, I'll be like, I can't believe I was there. That's incredible I was there. And then I was at Mania 10 and at the Garden, and Lex Luger gets taken out by Yokozuna. Bret Hart takes Yokozuna out. Volkov and the Sheik become tag champs. Razor and Shawn's epic ladder match, one of the best ladder matches WWE has ever had, right there, WrestleMania 10 at the Garden. And the craziest memory for me for that day was, I was still a kid at the time, and my mother wasn't too thrilled with the idea of me going to a venue like the Garden by myself from Brooklyn. So my mother had gone with me, and my mother had a doctor's appointment that day, and we couldn't get to the Garden until my mother was done at the doctor. And I remember cursing up a storm in the doctor's waiting room. We got there like three matches in, like right before the main card started, but after all the dark matches were done. And all I did for Mania 20 was graphing it. And those were my WrestleMania moments. So yeah. Hey, Brian, how's the weather in Staten Island? How's that bazillion-dollar Verrazano bridge that you have to cross now? What's going on? You guys are going to have to... I see you Staten Island people like getting like kayaks and like kayaking to Brooklyn and Queens. Honestly, I remember when that bridge was $1, Brian. Oy. Did you really, Brian? Wow. That PLJ used to have a big connection with wrestling through Todd Pettingill. I don't think they still do. I could be wrong, but I really don't. Expensive? No, my ex is expensive. That bridge is freaking crazy on price. But yeah, those are my wrestle moments. And one thing I'm going to definitely be doing this week is I'm hitting WrestleCon at the end of the week. It's a tease, I might have a couple of interviews set up for next week. I don't know. I got to do some more, palm greasing. I'm not going to say who. It's a tease because I don't want to get everybody's hopes up and then not get it. And you guys, come out and start yelling at me, hey, you promised an interview, because I don't know if it's going to happen, but I got everything crossed that my plans come through for me. Like I said, Josh Barnett has a card in Jersey City on Thursday. And just about every MMA organization is very smart. They're letting the WWE run the weekend. Saturday is the Hall of Fame at the Barclays. Sunday, obviously, is Mania. Every main organization is taking a step back and saying, we're not going to mess with you guys. The ratings, everything, it's you guys this week. And it's a smart business move not to try to tackle competition, because you're not going to outdraw them. You're really not. Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships 5, though, is happening Saturday night. Now, look, it's a decent main event with Artem Lobov against, who is it? Not James Vick. I'm vapor locking on who it is. I don't even think I wrote it down. No, I did not. But it's crazy to have a card, even if it's bare knuckle, where you know you're not going to draw as much as other organizations. WrestleMania, we can just let them have it. But que sera, sera, as the old saying goes. Now, when we come back, okay, we got some games coming up. We got a bunch of... There were crazy finishes all over the place. Every organization had them. There were so many things that could be awards at the end of the year. And they all happened this week, and they were all over the place. It was insane. But when we come back, we're going to kick all that off. And we're going to do some boxing first, right after this.
This is Frank Edgar. This is the Barbarian Tim Bosch.
I'm World Series of Fighting undefeated lightweight champion Justin Gaethje.
MMA legend, UFC Hall of Famer, Iceman. Chuck it up. If you got the guts, step in the cage with CYCLONE.
but you wasn't 100% confident Price wasn't going to unravel there, was you?
Look at this madness.
There.
Oh, you're joking. You are joking.
That is
the
just...
stupidity of that. The absolute stupidity of Cash Alley there.
What a crazy finish. Now, look, there were true great finishes across MMA, like I said, all over the place. I chose this one as finish of the weekend because, A, I don't want to get in trouble with any organization, but B, that wasn't the first time in the fight that Cash Ali bit David Price. My God. First of all, here's the thing. David Price was on a 4-fight winning streak. Now, Cash Ali was on a 4-fight winning streak. And he just pissed it all away. He literally took his pee shout and pissed all of it away. And he ruined his rep in one giant shot. He bit him 3 times in the fight, and that one was the worst. There was one in like the second round, he like nipped at him, and one I think in the 4th round he nipped at him too. For a boxer to bite another boxer, there's like a mental problem. It's not like, oops, I threw a punch after the bell. I can cut you slack on that. You know, your arm's in motion, you can't stop it. Bell, ding, you connect. That happens. Biting 3 times? Really? What the? Now look, all week long, these two were going back at it, back and forth. Cash Ali was going back a long ways, was David Price's sparring partner a couple of times. There's some serious hatred between the two of them. And Price started slow and picked the pace up. He hurt Cash Ali with a shot to the body right before that clip started because, I can't have long clips. I got to have, like, right to the point type clips. I don't get it. For the life of me, I don't get it. What in the blue hell is someone thinking? I get the competitiveness. But if you're ripped to the body and you're legitly hurt, which he was, you go for a double leg takedown and bite somebody? I mean, so obviously he was, Cash Ali was disqualified right on the spot. And before the official announcement was made, they started chirping at each other. In fairness, got to give props to David Price's corner. They were pulling him away from Cash Ali. But I'll tell you what, Ali has completely ruined his rep. Eddie Hearn afterwards, in a post-fight press conference, was livid. You can't do something like that, and there's no explanation. Like I said, I'll cut you some slack if you hit somebody after the bell. I started my arm in motion, I couldn't stop. I'll cut you slack. This? No. I don't get it. Now look, I get it. David, it shouldn't be a big story. Neither one is a top tier heavyweight. They're 4th level heavyweights, both of them. Maybe low 3rd for David Price. I think next for him though, I could see him taking on White. If you could beat White, maybe eventually a Jarrell Miller and work his way that way. Maybe an Ortiz also is a good matchup for Price right now. But Oy. And then Alexander Vazdik defended his WBC World Light Heavyweight Championship against, and I always, every time I try to say this guy's name, I mess it up, but Daudu and Gumbu, and it wasn't even a finish. Vazdik was coming in the 5th round, and Ngumbu was basically just circling around him like this. Okay, that's all he was doing, was circling around him, and he came up lame, and something happened. It's never even been revealed yet, because I've checked. I checked this morning, I checked this afternoon, and nothing has still been officially made on what exactly happened to Ngumbu. But he came up lame, something with his right leg, and his corner just threw in the towel. And you feel for the guy. And Dogbu was absolutely crushed in the corner, just weeping hysterically. And you can understand that, but sometimes stuff like that happens, you know. Yeah, so that's what happened in boxing. As we're moving very quickly along here. I mean, went through wrestling, went through boxing, and the fact of the matter is there's so many great cards coming up. We have Clarissa Shields and Christina Hammer coming up. Obviously the Terrence Crawford fight, the Danny Jacobs, Canelo fight. So many good fights coming back. Boxing is, they are charging back. They were dead in the water for a while. And as someone who likes all combat sports, and hopefully you do too, it's good to have them all at top level. The wrestling in the WWE is suspect at best, but you know, outside of that, boxing's coming back. MMA is on this level, and we're going to get into a whole bunch of MMA stuff in a few minutes. Some of it's rising. It's all good points. So, when we come back, we are going to start talking about mixed martial arts, what we all love, right after this.
Hi, I'm Jim Miller.
This is Dan Merigliotta.
I'm Derek Munson.
I'm Nick the Carney Lentz, and you're locked into the cage with Cyclone.
Where do we start with MMA? So much. So every organization was live last week, and great finishes in them all. You know, I know where I'm going to start. I'm going to give props once again to Bobby Campbell. I'll give props Jackhammer Promotions, which he runs. April 28th at Mulcahy's in Wantagh is their 10th anniversary card. Very, very good card. There are 7 title fights, 7 straps on the line. So, if you're available and free on Sunday, April 28th 28th, head to Mulcahy's in Wanta. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if there's tickets. You're going to have to double check, to be honest, because this is a serious special anniversary. 10 years. Yes, I think. Again, Dennis, no, Connor is not a clown. I love, you know what? That's just going to be your slogan now, Dennis, from now on. Connor's a clown. But mixing it in with wrestling theme, Cain Velasquez announced that he is on August 3rd going to be making his pro wrestling debut for AAA, which is a Mexican wrestling organization, in their event called Triple Mania. Look, here's the thing about Cain. I get that you love wrestling. Why are you doing it? You're coming off of another injury. Save your body, my brother. Once you retire, once you call it a career, and you tell USADA, no more piss tests for me, then go wrestle. Don't do it now, for the love of God. Seriously. Because if you take one bad bump, what happens? Then you're out for even a longer time. And people are looking at you as a gatekeeper in the heavyweight division, as it is. So, Cain, it's not something that, you really need to do. I wouldn't allow, if I was Dana White, I would have just put the kibosh on the whole thing. So, I know, let's start with Bellator. Daniel Strauss, 2 years ago, just under 2 years, about 1 year and 3.25 years ago, massive car accident. He's told he's never going to walk again. Fights relentlessly hard to come back. Forget about fighting, just to be able to walk again. Okay. Gets himself in shape, makes his return, and wins. And wins decisively. Taking out Shane Crutchen, Shane Crutchen, who is obviously, if you guys don't know, he's a former United States Marine. Always gets a big pop. So it's two kind of fan favorites going at it right there, and you kind of have to feel for him losing this one, but I mean, heartstrings kind of going with Daniel Strauss. And now Daniel Strauss is another win away from being back in title talk. I really, really think so. Derek Krantz in the LFA KO'd Justin Patterson. Back and forth action right up against the cage. Lands with a right uppercut. Wrong hand. I should, 47 years old, I should know my right from my left. Right uppercut. Almost Francis Ngannou-esque, right? Justin's head becomes like a Pez dispenser, snaps back, he's out before he hits the canvas. Dana White's in attendance because they're doing some tapings of a couple of Dana White looking for fights. And Dana's so impressed that he turns around and then offers Derek Krantz the opportunity to be eventually on an episode of Dana White, the Contender Series. So it's a win-win. You go in, you're thinking it's just one fight. Boom, you never know. It's one thing I like about the PFL. The PFL pushes, finishes. Get in, finish, get out. Don't do these long, drawn out 3-round, 5-round, go to the judges, 15 minutes worth of humping each other. Not that I have a problem with grappling, wrestling, or jiu-jitsu, but it's much, much better to finish because you never know what's the next thing down the line. And speaking of finishes, one championship. Holy freaking free holies. First of all, I've been telling all of you, this is the 46th episode of this show. I have been telling you since episode 1 that one championship was where it's at. You guys sleeping on one championship? Bad move on your part. I told you these guys play for keeps. And what happened? Just about every fight on the new era, I believe it was called, was a finish. And a serious finish. We had, obviously, Demetrius Johnson with a vicious guillotine choke, where it was more a triangle choke than a guillotine. Okay, Eddie Alvarez getting smoked. Told you, don't take those guys lightly there. Shinya Aoki regaining the lightweight championship from one championship against Edward Foliang. And you know what? I think those two are going to pass that. Despite what's going to happen in the lightweight Grand Prix, Edward Foliang and Shinya Aoki are going to pass that lightweight championship back and forth like a hot potato. Seriously, those two are incredible fighters. We saw Angela Lee losing her first career fight. She was trying to become a champ, which, like I told you, Chatri Sittinyang didn't want that fight to happen in the first place. Signed off on it. Loses, but you know what? Look, like they always say, every time you lose, you learn more than if you win. That's just the way it is. UFC Philadelphia, my God. And speaking about losing dramatically, Sabana Mazo, who I hyped up more than anyone else, takes an L. She was completely out-grappled, loses by unanimous decision. And something like that, she'll bounce back from that. She's, like 21, 22 years old? It's something that a young fighter bounces back from. Aaron Pico bounced back, although he's been hot cold recently. That's what happens. Any given day, anyone can win, anyone can lose. And God's honest truth, it's important for you to taste that first L so you get that drive and you get that hunger and you come back even stronger. Edson and Justin Gaethje's, Justin said it wasn't a war, but the fact of the matter is they both ripped each other apart with kicks. They cracked each other in the face. And then comes the overhand right. Good God Almighty. What a KO. But it's just one of the possibles for knockout of the year. And you feel bad for Edson Barboza because here's the deal. Justin finally was he was really measured. Everything he did, every shot he took, he thought before he threw. And that's the good Justin Gaethje. That's the World Series of Fighting Justin Gaethje coming to the UFC. And that's why he was a champion. Now, whether he can ever beat Khabib, I don't know. He certainly puts a lot of issues for Khabib, whether Javier Mendez wants to admit it or not. He puts up a whole lot of issues. And remember, Khabib doesn't always do what he's told. Sometimes he likes to just throw hands. And if you throw hands with Justin Gaethje 7, 8 times out of 10, you lose. Now, if Khabib takes Justin down, which is what he would do, the fact of the matter is, Justin's an All-American wrestler. We've never really seen his wrestling because he refuses to use it. Who's to say what happens if that... I would love that fight. But it's not going to happen anytime soon with Khabib sitting out and everybody else booked. So, I don't know. Obviously, Josh Emmett taking out Michael Johnson, and you feel bad for Michael Johnson not getting some sort of a bonus, because look, Michael Johnson's never been KO'd the way he got KO'd, and the crowd's booing, at least the crowd that was in the arena in Philadelphia was booing. They were bored out of their freaking skull. Really? And out of nowhere, just knock out. And you give props to Josh Emmett because Josh Emmett didn't follow up because Michael Johnson was out cold right here. Way before he hit the mat. He was out cold. And you give a guy like that credit for not going in and throwing a couple of other shots. Now, I do want to say, I want to give a shout out to Jennifer Duchesne from the great Facebook group MMA in NYC for taking all those photos and some videos of her giving fighters, like Michelle Waterston, high fives as they were leaving the cage. But the one thing I noticed is there were a lot of empty seats. A lot of people slept on that card, and the card was actually better than people gave it credit for. It's something I'm not going to understand how and why. Also, obviously, Gary Tonin in one championship comes up with a TKO victory, doesn't use his grappling, grows his hair out like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Nice look for someone that was always clean shaven, by the way. You give everyone credit that had finishes because there were so many. It was a ridiculous amount of finishes. So, guys, click share. Check out CycloneComedy.com. Check out Psyche Prods on Facebook. Most importantly, even more important than my own stuff, EffectiveAggression.com. Hats, t-shirts, hoodie, autographed gloves from superstars, from actors, actresses, singers, fighters, you name it, we got it, and you should get it. So check out EffectiveAggression.com. Now, when we come back, we're going to have a whole bunch of games lined up for you. Ooh, it's going to be a whole lot of fun coming up after this.
Hi, I'm Jim Miller. This is Dan Merigliotta. I'm Derek Brunson.
I'm Nick the Carney Lentz, and you're locked into the cage with Cyclone.
I believe we should be going to, on this date in MMA history.
Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
And only 3 things happen today. And they're 3 birthdays. Vitor Belfort, 42. We got Derek Campos, the Stallion, being 31 today. And the UFC welterweight champion, I had to think what belt he was holding. The UFC welterweight champion's brother, Muhammad Usman, turns the ripe old age of 30. I don't remember 30 years old. Too long ago. And you know, like I said, we got a whole bunch of games. And you know what we're bringing back today? Something we haven't done in a long time. I talked about what I was thinking at the top of the show. And you know what? I was dreaming for a fight. So let's do a dream fight. Okie dokie, I have my list of 500 fighters and martial artists and everything. And here's my bag of numbers. And I am going to pull out 2 numbers. And those 2 people are going to throw down. Yeah, that's 1 ticket. And our second ticket. Normally I just close my eyes and pull them out, but I wasn't going to do that today. Numero 14 and numero 73. So, wow. You guys are going to like this one. Number 14. Tito, the Huntington bad boy Ortiz. And number 73, Brock Lesnar. Wow. Brock against Tito. You know what, though? I could see Tito taking Brock down, landing some ground and pound. But I think Brock would just be too big and too strong for Tito. Especially now. Tito's a lot older. And not that Chuck Liddell hit him hard, but Tito against Brock Lesnar, I hate to say it because I'm not a fan of his as a person, but my money would have to be on Brock Lesnar. Because, well, Brock's just that much of a badass. So that was a dream fight. Now, for everyone's absolute favorite part of the show, let's do the raffle. And today's questiones, because we had 3 questions. Question number 1 from Kenny Hodgkins. What match are you most looking forward to at WrestleMania? Kenny asking a wrestling question? Okie dokie. Well, look, not that I'm personal friends with, but I'm an associate. I know him. He knows of me. I'm happy to see Tony Nese climbing the ladder, getting the push that I think he deserves. And I want to see Tony Nese do really, really, really good and keep on climbing. Him against Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight title. If he wins it, sky's the limit. Even if Tony Nese doesn't win the Cruiserweight title, he's made it, man. He's gotten there, and I'm really, really happy for somebody that I saw in the Indies make that climb, you know. Obviously, I'm looking forward to seeing Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. I like the interaction between the two. I'm curious to see how they play it and how long they do that storyline for. Is it a one and done, or does it continue? And the aforementioned Brock Lesnar, I'm dying to see what happens with him, because we still don't know. Even though he's in the USADA testing pool, we don't know if he's going to come to face Daniel Cormier or not. Still up in the air. So I'm curious to see that. I know you said what one match I'm looking forward to, and I just gave you 3. But I'm looking forward to so much. As long as the writing, if they tell a good story, I'll be happy. If it's regular garbage, next Monday when I do the recap right here, I'm going to be pissed. And obviously, of course, I want to see them put the strap around Becky Lynch, my next wife, even though she doesn't know it yet, just because I demand. Anyways, that's a long-winded question, but I'm looking forward to a lot, basically. Question number 2 from John James. How can Clarissa Shields beat Christina Hammer? Okay, to be blunt, I went long on one. I'll be blunt on this one. She's going to have to get inside. Christina has the reach advantage. If Clarissa could get inside, she's going to have to work Christina's body. If she works her body, she should be able to I see going maybe 5-6 rounds. And here's the point of the matter. As far as that fight's concerned, it is, hands down, the most important fight in women's boxing history. Bar none, there is no fight more important. Okay, these two are blazing a trail that was started by Lalia Ali, by so many great women boxers, and it's now come down to this, that they are the top of the card. And by the way, that is, I believe, April 13th in Atlantic City. So that's 2 weeks away. And question number 3 coming from Mr. Rudy Asher. What does Michelle Waterston have to do to get a title shot? I think after beating Carolina, well, look, if she would have finished Carolina, I say give her the shot right now. And if they gave her the shot after Andrade and Rose fight, if the first crack is to Michelle Waterston, I really don't have any problems with it. I would have liked to seen Michelle finish Carolina. Being that she didn't, here's the thing. I honestly, in my heart of hearts, want to see Michelle fight Joanna as the title eliminator. And here's the deal. You let the two winners square off. The Rose Andrade winner against Michelle Joanna winner. Kind of like a mini tournament, you know, and have the two winners fight. That's the way I would like to see it. So, let's pick a winner between these three lucky gentlemen, huh? And the winner is going to be numero 2, John James. Congratulations, sir. I will be going to the post office tomorrow to mail yours. And also, Brandon May, don't worry. I know I haven't sent it out yet. Yours is going to be mailed tomorrow as well. Scout's honor, even though I was never a scout. Tomorrow, I will be in the post office tomorrow morning. I'm very happy you agree with me, Jennifer. You should agree with me all the time, Jennifer, because I am always right. A clock is only right twice. I'm always right. So, once again, I want to just let all you guys know, April 28th in Mulcahy's is the 10th anniversary card of Jackhammer Promotions. Not sure if there's any tickets available. You got to do your research. You got to do your snooping. You got to do your checking. It's going to be a really, really fun card. Plus, if you come by the broadcast booth, yours truly, Mr. Play-by-Play Man, will take a photo with you. Coming up in a little while is, of course, Pinups, Cool Cats, and Comics. So keep it right here on Strong Island Television. And next week, we're going to have a recap of all the wrestling that's going on. I'll do some bare knuckle fighting championship recap too. We'll talk about big stories. We'll have some more games next week too. We'll do it all next week. And like I remind you guys all the time, just because you, I'm talking to you, yes you, are not an athlete, does not mean you cannot be an athletic supporter. Bye-bye.